Hello class, so today we're going to do something a little bit different with the evaluating the Boolean expressions. Not much different, but it's just going to require knowing a couple different rules. Okay, so yesterday I gave y'all some practice examples. It was these, or at least some of these, and I gave you values to use for A and B and C and whatever. So you just plug in the value 1 and 0 and full them out and simplify it. Okay, so what I'm going to look at today basically is what if you're not given values. So if you're just given this and it just says simplify it. Okay, so before I give you the rules, let me show you what that means. So simplify just basically is what it says. So like number 1, we just take this and we full this out. So we have not A times A. Okay, and last, so plus not A and B, or not plus but or, okay, or A and B, or B and B. So don't put B squared, it's B and B. Okay, so simplify these. So how do we simplify this? Okay, so this is attached, so if you want to print this paper out, these are all what we call the Boolean theorems. Okay, it looks like a lot of stuff, but it's actually pretty simple. Okay, so these are the Boolean theorems here basically. So if you have a variable, so it's called single variable theorems. So this is based off of all the single variables. So just like this first part here, we have single variable. It's just a not version and a regular version. And then when we get to here, same thing. Okay, these are going to stay like they are because not A and B, well, that's simplified. The only stuff you have to simplify is when you have same variables. Okay, so if you have the variable and you're multiplying it by this 0 actually represents the not version, right? Because if it's not A, then that means it's off. Okay, so this is like saying A times not A, so what we have here. So that simplifies to a 0. So basically it just cancels itself out. Not A and A is basically canceled out. So that's kind of what it does. When you have it, so like right here, the variable times itself, that's what number 3 is. It's just simplifies to just B. Okay, so that's really all this. So not A or not variable times the variable itself cancels out, and variable times itself it's just B. So B and B, well that's the same thing as just having B. Okay, and then these are simplified. So these are different variables, so you don't need to worry about those. So this basically simplifies to that. Okay, so that's pretty much what I want you to do today. So these are the examples you did yesterday to practice them using zeros or ones. Now I just want you to go through and simplify it. Okay, this you simplify, so it's just like normal algebra, it's factoring out what do they have in common. Notice how they have a C and a D in common, so you can factor that out and you'd be left with A or not A and B, and that's really all you can simplify with that. Okay, and then same thing for here and here. So basically simplify just the best that you can using these theorems. So let's do, I'll go ahead and just do number 2, and then you can do 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so number 2. So we have ACD or not A, BCD. Okay, and you're going to have this. So now we look at the multivariable theorems. Because notice there's no single variables together. It's all multivariable. So these are just ways to simplify that. So we have ACD and ABCD. So what we can do, we can simplify it. Kind of like I said, they both have CD in common. Okay, so we can simplify it to that. And then that may be simplified. but you look at your theorems and see if there's anything that resembles this that we can simplify. Okay, and I'm looking here and I see this. Okay, this is x or not x times y. So that's kind of what I have here. Okay, this is like x or not x times y. So if I see that relation, that's exactly what I have here in the middle. So what does this simplify to? Whatever x is. In this case, x is, right here. Okay, so that's what I have right here. This is just a and b's, this is just x and y's. So this thing simplifies to just x or y, or in this case, a or b. Okay, so that's really all this is. It's just using this cheat sheet to show you how to simplify. Okay, so this now can be simplified this way. And that's pretty much all it's going to get simplified to. Okay? Yep. These, don't worry about these just yet. So for these problems, just going to worry about this top part here. These are when we basically start getting into more complex expressions, how you can simplify it first, and then if you're given values for ones and zeros, you know, how does that simplify it even more? So we're not worrying about that. So really for these, just focus on these. And we'll do a couple more of these at the beginning of the week, next week, so you can get more practice with these. And then we'll start looking at how to make circuits from stuff like this. And that will be the last thing we do for logic gates. Okay, so these are your questions. So I did 1 and 2, so go ahead and do 3, 4, and 5 using this cheat sheet, which I have attached this on the page. So you can just download it or print it out, whatever you want to do. All right, if you still have questions, just message me on Teams. Thanks, guys. Have a good day.